So the next award is for the category of Students Improving Patient Safety and Quality. The first finalist in this category is Helen Price from the University of South Wales with a project called Communicate with Compassion, Respond with Heart. Whilst on work placement, Helen noticed that communication with patients could be improved to ensure they play a more active role in their own care. She decided to pilot a new project called Respond with Heart. This encouraged all staff to introduce themselves, acknowledge the patient and ask how they would like to be addressed, build relationships and respond to patients' needs. It also aims to reduce the time the patient has to wait for a member of staff to return to speak to them. The project has already made an impact with a reduction in the number of bell calls for staff, a reduced wait for staff to return to patients, and positive patient feedback. The second finalist is Steffan Robbins. I saw Steffan tweeting last night. Can you just put your hand up, Steffan? There we are. It was a long trip down on the train from Bangor, wasn't it? So the second finalist is Steffan Robbins from Bangor University for a project to improve the sharing of continence care information. Steffan identified a need to improve the sharing of patients' continence information in an acute hospital ward. He observed that staff were constantly having to ask patients about their needs, which was wasting time and causing distress for the patients. A solution was needed, and Steffan identified that having individuals' continence care information, including method and how often they use the toilet, available at the bedside could be the answer. He discussed the idea with patients and staff, both in the ward and across the hospital, and piloted having continence care information at the bedside using a discrete symbol format. The project has ensured patients' continence information is clear to all staff, improved communication when staff change shifts, and improved care, dignity and well-being for patients. The third finalist is a group of students from the University of South Wales with a project to improve the dignity of patients at meal times. The group implemented a pilot project on an orthopaedic ward after noticing that staff rarely used proper protection while feeding patients, leading to messy clothes or bed linen and causing distress and embarrassment for patients. As a result of this, around 26% of patients had to have either their clothes or bed linen changed because of spillage. The group decided to source a protective napkin that could be used with patients and measure if the change made a difference. The napkin was used by patients at all meal times during a 24-hour period, and no change of clothes or bed linen was required during that time. The change, which was fully embraced by staff, led to improved dignity, respect and independence for their patients. So now we're going to hear from Chris Jones with his highlights of each finalist.
The one thing that really stood out about this project was that a team identified what was for me a really surprising problem, that elderly patients who needed protection while eating were having to use pillowcases and towels. So they sourced a really simple alternative to protect patients and improve their dignity while eating, and this has implications for the whole of the NHS in Wales. Applicant worked with a team of colleagues on the wards to put in place a proactive structure to patient communication. I think she was inspired by Kate Granger's work on Hello, My Name Is, and introduced this proposal called Respond with Heart, which meant that staff went up to patients, introduced themselves, got to know the patients and established a rapport and understanding, and then went back at more frequent intervals. And this significantly reduced the demands on staff and the times that patients had to wait for further contact. Well, the one thing that stood out about this project was that the applicant worked between the university and the NHS to put in place quite an original solution to the issue of communicating patients' continence needs among staff. You can't do this in a very sort of indiscreet way, so he invented a very discreet methodology based on symbols at the bedside indicating patients' continence needs and their likely requirements, and this actually significantly improved their care.
Many thanks for that, Chris, and over to Andrew.
And well done to the three of you. And the winner is Helen Price, University of South Wales. Communicate with compassion, respond with heart.